1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8.
Not great at the advice. Can I interest you in a sarcastic comment? Some cheese.
See, now that I can see crying over, but Bambi is a cartoon.
You didn't cry when Bambi's mother died?
Yes, it was very sad when the guy stopped drawing the deer.
Chandler, there's nothing wrong with crying. You don't have to be so macho all the time.
Macho?
Yeah, you're right. I don't know what I was thinking.
Oh, I guess I just never really cried, you know? I'm not a crying kind of guy.
Come on, man. There's got to be something that gets you choked up. Like, what if you saw a three-legged puppy?
I'd be sad, sure. But I wouldn't cry.
Okay, what if the puppy said, "Help me, Chandler. All the other puppies pick on me."
Cry? I just found a talking puppy. I'm rich.
I mean, I could write slogans. I mean, how hard could it be, right? Cheese. It's milk that you chew. Crackers, because your cheese needs a buddy. A grape, because who can get a watermelon in your mouth?
I got one. Socks. Because your family's feet deserve the best.
Honey, leave it to the pros.
Name that grandmother.
Nana? She has a real name.
Althea!
Althea, what are you doing?
I took a shot.
You're shooting with Althea?
Althea is correct.
Nice shooting!
I'm gonna kiss you now.
Not if I kiss you first.
Well, I guess there's nothing left for us to do but kiss.
Here it comes. Our first kiss.
Okay, right, you win.
Chandler?
Nope.
Chandler!
Janice, there you are. There you are. I had to have one last kiss, and also you said you were going to leave right after I got on the plane.
No, I want to see you take off.
Well, then I guess I'm going to Yemen. I'm going to Yemen. When we get to Yemen, can I stay with you?
7 o'clock. Maybe I'll hit the gym. Who am I kidding? Pay-per-view porn.
Disturb! Do not disturb!
Monica?
Is everything all right?
Yeah, everything's great. It's just, watching some regular television there. Oh, what a pleasant surprise.
You make me happier than I ever thought I could be. And if you let me, I will spend the rest of my life trying to make you feel the same way. Monica, will you marry me?
Yes. This is it. This is harder than I thought it would be. Do you guys have to go to the new house right away, or do you have some time? We got some time. Okay, should we get some coffee?
Sure. Where?
What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 385 of the Hoots Podcast on this Thursday, November 2nd, 2023. It is yours truly, the nefarious brother Adam, aka Joshie Lopez. Make sure to follow me on Twitter or X at the Hoots Podcast. Hope you guys are enjoying your evening. Hope you guys are enjoying your week overall. Here to shoot the shit on a Thursday night as the road to episode 400 of the Hoots Podcast continues on, and we're marching on towards that track. I don't know whether episode 400 will be in February or beginning of the March, but it'll be here before you know it. Welcome to the show, everybody. For those who are watching on YouTube, and check out the podcast anywhere you get it from. YouTube, what? Spotify, what? Apple Podcasts, what? Amazon Music, what? Pandora, we're on Pandora now. For those who use Pandora, you can use that if you want. What? Apple Podcasts, what? Anywhere podcasts goes, just type in Hoots Podcast and it'll come to you right there, and you guys will enjoy for yourself. Yeah, another week of wrestling to document this week, but also I'd be remiss without talking a little bit about what you guys just saw in the video here, the intro of the show. Matthew Perry, widely respected and well thought about actor and comedian, and mental health and addiction advocate and supporter and recovery and survivor, unfortunately passed away over the weekend at the age of 54. And for those who know me, a big part of my life and a show that's meant a lot to me over the years and a show that's really helped me a lot during my healing process is a show called Friends. I would not say for me personally that Friends is my all-time favorite TV show. It's probably the one I watch the most because it's the one that's on TV all the time. But Friends has always been a big part of my life, and I appreciate the show for what it's meant in its history and how successful it was from a business point of view. But all in all, just the the comic relief, the life lessons along the way, and a lot of the comedy stuff, especially from Matthew, who played the character Chandler Bing, and definitely one of my favorite TV characters of all time. But Matthew had a lot of great roles outside of Friends. There's a movie that I like that he did with Zac Efron a while back while I was in high school called 17 again, which was really good. I know a lot of people talk about this movie he did with Salma Hayek, The Fools Rush In, the whole 9 yards with Bruce Willis, a whole cavalcade of stuff that he's done. And I think Matthew had a role in The West Wing too. Very talented guy, had a lot of demons, went through a lot of shit. And it really takes something for somebody to, be accountable and be open with what he was going through, with his problems that he put himself into. And, I saw the interview he did with Diane Sawyer a few years ago when he was promoting his autobiography. And, it just sucks. There's a price that comes with trying to be the best at whatever you want to do. There's a price that comes with fame. There's a price in just any aspect of life where, you could find yourself going down a wrong path without even realizing it at a certain point. But, this news kind of sucked, seeing that over the weekend, because, it looked like he was turning a new leaf. He was changing his life for the better. He was turning the corner and, enjoying the new stuff that he wanted to do. There's the interview that's been spewed around over the last couple of days where he said that he wants to be remembered for helping people that want to come up to him and ask him for help, and addiction is not an easy thing. I don't personally suffer from addiction, but I know people and I had people in my life that meant a lot to me that I loved. that have struggled with addiction. And one of the best things for me is definitely being a supporting person and a good listener and helping people through their rough patches, whether it's addiction, mental health issues, whatever the situation. One of the things I pride myself on is being there and helping people and try to give them a different perspective and try to bring some positivity in their life. And Matthew was doing that on his own accord, dealing with the fact that he was a survivor and a person that was dealing with addiction. And yeah, gone way too soon. I made a little montage of some of his best moments on Friends. I remember one of my favorite lines for this is the episode, I think it's season 9 or 10, where they're back from the Barbados. This is the whole thing where Ross catches Joey and Rachel making out, and they're a couple, I guess, and they're at the coffee shop, and he's like, hey, you know, his sister Monica has tan. And he's like, where you go get that? So Ross goes, gets the tan, right? He comes back, and he's just burnt to a crisp, right? And Ross tells the Chandler, he's like, you see where your wife brought me? And Chandler's like, where to? The Sun? Was that place the Sun? The guy was the king of sarcasm, obviously, and wit. A lot of that it was improvised. If you ever watched the reunion special that they did on HBO Max a couple years ago, or watch any documentary of Friends, you guys know that a lot of stuff that was on TV, while they had a lot of great writers, a lot of it was also on improv too, and Matt was just very naturally witty and very naturally good at what he does when comedic timing and facial expressions. And really, he's one of the first people you would think about that's got popularized for having a sarcastic demeanor to him, you know, having that wit. And what's cool about Friends, by the way, for those who are watching that video, I'm actually wearing the shirt tonight in honor of Matthew Perry, so you guys see it right there. There you go. Take a little look at that really quick. I got my Friends shirt on tonight to pay a little homage to Matthew Perry. Passed away at the age of 54. One of my favorite parts of the show was obviously the relationship that he developed with Monica. Definitely one of the more pure, genuine relationships throughout the show. But you know, I played that little audio there earlier where he had the proposal and how they got to that part of that episode was really, really, really good. Just a testament to just how good that cast was and how good the show was as a whole. So, you know, it's a bummer, you know, even for celebrities and people that you've never met in your life. This sucks, man. It does. I feel like, you know, for the most part, you know, anytime you deal with grief, even with somebody you never met, that doesn't mean it can't affect you in some way. So, you know, for me, when I went back to Oviedo a couple years ago, and I had that 2-week trip where I was trying to look at houses and stuff, and I was having closure from that whole Lawrence situation. Going to sleep at night at the hotel, staying at, all it was on was Friends. And I watched it, obviously, growing up as a kid in the 90s. I watched the show for sure. But I was 10 years old when the show went off air in 2004. They had their final episode. So I kind of lost touch to it, you know? And getting to rewatch it again during that time period where I was healing and all that stuff, I just had a newfound respect for the show. And even though How I Met Your Mother is my all-time favorite TV show, Friends is definitely a show that's a classic for sure. So, yeah, even though I never had a chance to meet Matthew Perry. This sucks seeing like some of your favorite celebrities go, or anybody in life go. So, my thoughts go out to the entire cast. Marta Kaufman, David Crane, and Kevin Bright, the writers and producers of the show and creators of the show, obviously the cast, and of course Matthew's family. So our thoughts go out to Matthew Perry, who unfortunately passed away this past Saturday at the age of 54. So with that being said, we got a lot to get to. We're going to have a little abbreviated edition of the Back Porch Q&A session. That's towards the end of the show. Chris only sent questions this week, so that's okay. I always say this. I'm grateful for anybody who takes the time to send out questions. If I get 5 questions, if one person says it, 2, it doesn't matter. And the fact that people want to take their time to interact with us and have questions, it means a lot to me, and I do appreciate that. So I just want to say really quick again, thank you guys for supporting us, and thanks for taking this ride with us. So just don't forget, as Chandler Bing would say, the funny line he had there about, man, I felt really bad when the artist stopped drawing the deer. Kind of symbolizes my thoughts on wrestling booking and the discourse that goes on with these shows, where it's like, oh, created this, created that. Man, I feel bad for the wrestling booker who decided to stop putting over the internet's favorite wrestler over in a subjective, scripted wrestling match. Like, it is what it is. Anyways, let's continue on here before we get to our first segment of the show. Just a couple other thoughts I wanted to get off the top of my dome piece. Like I said, episode 385, rocking and rolling. The numbers have been insane over the last month or so, which has been really cool. We been able to attain over 70,000 new listeners and downloads over the past month, which is really cool. We're currently at 816,000 downloads and plays on Anchor, aka Spotify for podcasters, which is the place that I upload this podcast that you're listening to right now. And we're on the road to 1 million. I would hope and pray we could reach that benchmark by the time we get to episode 400. But even then, the fact that these many people go out of their way to listen to this particular show, it means a lot to me. I mean, I apologize in advance. I'm unworthy of the support. No, I'm kidding. No, it's been cool. It's been really rewarding and eye-opening, to see the fact that people still care. And numbers speak for themselves, especially on the audio version. That means a lot to me. YouTube is kind of hit and miss, especially when it comes to wrestling content creators, especially live streams. I haven't figured out that market. I agree to disagree with a lot of things that come out of a guy like JD from New York's mouth, but I will not take away his work ethic. I will not take away his success for what he's been able to accomplish on YouTube, and the fact that he's been able to have a career out of it, where he has content. He has, I think he has almost 1 million subscribers or something like that somewhere soon. But the guy's had big followings. He dominates the market when it comes to live streams and having super chats and all that stuff. We're not at that point, especially here on YouTube. I think we're close to 500 subscribers, but we have to get to 1,000 to even qualify. We have to get to 1,000 to even qualify for those super chats and stuff like that. So any support that comes with this particular show, even though the fact that we don't have a huge following and we're not on a big platform, the fact that you guys still care and rock with us each week, that is pretty dope, and we do appreciate all of you. So other things on my mind, I just wanted to say that I watched the Kelsey documentary. I know a lot of people are probably tired of hearing about the whole Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift stuff. I am too, even as a Taylor Swift fan. It's getting a little bit overboard. Speaking of Taylor, shout out to Taylor for her re-album release of the 1989 album, Taylor's Version. the girl's a billionaire now. She's just a one-on-one talent, man. She's very good at what she does, and she deserves all the flowers. And the fact that you have a billionaire that for a chick that's one, talented, two, very, very hot, three, also very humble and a good human being. I don't know what else you could ask for from her. So very, very, very cool to see that. But I got to see the documentary that was based on Travis's brother, Jason Kelce. You guys know both of them have also a very successful and popular podcast called the New Heights Podcast. And Jason had a documentary that was released on Amazon Prime before the start of this particular football season that's going on right now. And I got to watch it today. Very, very good. I really enjoyed it. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Travis Kelce. I think he's kind of a twat or a stew nod for my paisans out there. I'm not the biggest Travis Kelce fan in the world, but his brother Jason's a really cool dude. I like this story. You know, he was contemplating whether or not this was going to be his final season or not in the NFL. And, you know, get to hear his stories. You had his wife, Kylie, who's a badass. I got to watch the episode when she was a guest on their podcast a few weeks ago. She's awesome. She's pretty cool. So they had that. They showed his daughters. His third daughter, Bennett, was born a couple weeks after the Super Bowl, where him and Travis had their Super Bowl in Arizona a few months ago. So I watched it. I wasn't sure if I wanted to watch it because, you know, all the minutia and stuff, seeing Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce every other freaking day. I was kind of getting tired of the whole situation, to be honest with you. But to watch the documentary, it was more on Jason and the man he is and how he got raised is pretty cool. You know, his mom and dad are pretty cool as well. So I enjoyed it. If you're into football, if you like just good documentaries on good people, you don't even have to be a sports fan to enjoy it. It's on Amazon Prime. It's called Kelce. I liked it for what it was. I thought it was pretty decent. So I wanted to get that out of the way. Now, before we get to the first segment of the show this week, I have to say, it's another week of nonsense revolving my Chicago Bears. So, once again, we get absolutely embarrassed and mollywopped on worldwide television on NBC Sunday Night Football. Losing, get our ass kicked by Chris Collinsworth. There's just two things in sports I can't stand. The Bears on primetime television and Chris Collinsworth calling Bears games. So here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. No, I was not surprised the Bears lost on Sunday. No, I'm not surprised that we have more drama coming out. You know, it's one thing after another. We have a crappy beat crew that covers the Bears. I don't know whether they're journalists or want to be CIA agents at times. I know my buddy Sam Pioble, who's watching or listening to this, would agree with this. It's just if you listen to a Bears press conference and some of the questions that are asked, it's almost as eye rolling as some of the stuff you hear at these AEW scrums with Tony Khan and whoever that guy that asked the Taylor Swift question at the Fastlane press conference. Yeah, it's not good. What I will say is that, you know, we had the trade deadline coming past. Montez Sweat is now a new Bear, so welcome Montez to the city. Much added help, necessary help for our defensive line. Bears are at 2-6. They'll be taking on the New Orleans Saints this Sunday in New Orleans. I just got to say, man, like, it's one thing after another. We don't know whether or not they're going to build a new stadium because the people in Arlington Heights don't want to pay money for it. Politics get in the way. Who knows whether or not we're going to have the Bears still at Soldier Field. Another assistant coach got fired this week. It's just one thing after another, and it gets really, really nauseating after a while because I want to enjoy my favorite sports team in the city. Obviously, I want to enjoy that, but at the same time, it's just like what could go wrong will go wrong, and I just get really like nauseated with, especially this time of the year where you're like, well, here we go again. It's week 9. The Bears are about to miss the playoffs. Hey, the Bears are probably going to fire their coach again because that's not the first time that's happened. It certainly will not be the last. Oh, is the GM on the hot seat? Oh, we need a new quarterback. Oh, we don't have enough players. It's like this cycle that's just ruthless, man. Like, I don't get it with Chicago sports, man. Like, the Hawks are obviously in a rebuild. The Bulls are stuck in mediocrity, and they're kind of in limbo, kind of like the Bears. God knows what's up with my White Sox half the time. It's it's a CLAHN show. I could come on here and give the CLAHN of the Week award to my Chicago sports team every single week, but it serves no purpose. So, no, I was not surprised that the Bears got their ass kicked on Sunday Night Football. I don't even watch Sunday Night Football. I don't. I find the broadcast to be beyond boring since Al Michaels left. I think Mike Tirico's much, much better on hosting the in-studio panel discussions than doing play-by-play. And I can't listen to Chris Collinsworth. I can't. I literally had my headphones on listening to music instead of instead of listening to the live broadcast because I can't stand his commentary. It's just brutal. Oh, Justin Fields should learn some stuff from Tyson Bagent. Get out of here. Anyways, last thing I wanted to say before we get to our first segment here, let me just say this. I'm trying to figure out, what I want to do next when I eventually move out of Chicago. This is something that's been on my mind a lot recently. Everything I got here now at my new place since I lost my first apartment, everything here has been really cool. I mentioned before, it's been really nice to reconnect with some of the members from my dad's side of the family that I kind of lost touch with over the years, just due to the whole pandemic and other situations. But, having everything I've had here since I moved in here in May, it's been really good in a lot of ways. Obviously you guys know about my whole situation and the whole workout stuff I've been doing for the last 4 to 5 months, and we're slowly making progress as the weeks and months go by. But I know at the same time that regardless of what happens here, this probably will be the last place I'll be in as far as living here. I have to be realistic about what's going on here in that what I want is not here. What I want for myself professionally, and more importantly, what I want personally is not here, or something that I can't have, as far as the personal stuff, I'll keep that to myself, but professionally, I could come in here and get my hopes up and do 15 different interviews with the same 2 stations. Will I get hired? Will I not get hired? I don't know. I'm like running out of answers or trying to rationalize of why the door hasn't opened yet for me. And at the same time, as I say that, I just realized that I'm a person that's not going to dwell over things that I have no control over. It's not to say that I don't acknowledge things that I had to work on. Not that I'm not cognizant of other people's feelings. I'm not saying any of that. When I say that I don't lose sleep over things that are not in my control, I've been burned so many times in my life, personally and professionally, by people I trusted and people that say they love me and et cetera, that for me, and it's not for everybody, but I can only speak for myself because I'm the person in my own shoes. I can't let myself down because somebody told me no, or they lied to me, or whatever the situation is. That's when I say I don't lose sleep over stuff I have no control over. I can't control whether somebody's going to open the door for me or not. I have to open that shit up for myself. I know opportunities are going to come because I earned it and I took that opportunity and made the best out of it. I'm not expecting a handout. I'm not looking for people to look sorry for me or feel sorry for me or any of that type of stuff, because at the end of the day, I got myself to where I am today due to the hard work and ethic that I put myself through. I give credit where credit's due to my mentors at the school that I went to for broadcasting and my buddies along the way. You guys know who you are. But all in all, with everything that's gone on the past 10 years or so, it's really been on me and going this route, because I could have been content with just playing music and, trying to get money that I don't have and try to justify paying $70,000 in school financial aid loans and stuff like that to go pursue a music career. But it didn't work out. Like I couldn't afford going to school, waiting until my junior year of college in order to start taking music classes when music was going to be my major that I was going for. That part of it just doesn't make sense. That's the part of the whole school system for me that doesn't make sense. So again, here we go. We are 10 years later. I found myself in a position where I've been able to make a small career for myself, covering wrestling, doing something I love, and more importantly, being able to be in the position where I can work from home. That's not me. That's the stuff I have control over. I opened that niche for myself. I opened that avenue to make sure that I got to where I am right now. And yeah, I had to deal with the whole furlough situation. But again, for me personally, I'm a person that adapts through nonsense, and I got the man upstairs holding me down and keeping me grounded and keeping me focused. And that's the biggest thing. I can't lose sleep over stuff that I have no control over, because that's not on me, it's on God. I feel like this stuff is already predetermined for me, whether what's going to happen next. He's guiding me to where I need to go. It's not the other way around. I can't worry about what's going to happen for 5 years from now, because that's not on me. I can, make sure that my health is in a good place, that I'm in a good place with my mental health and all that stuff spiritually. But it comes to the big stuff that's going to go down the road. And me personally, I'm not like a person that worries that much. I'm not a big worrier. Maybe this is because I'm more reassured within myself, and knowing the fact that I can't trust that many people, that it makes it easier for me to not be like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe that's happening. Oh, what's going to happen here? What's going to happen here? Like, I don't move like that. I never moved like that. I don't blame people who do. And I generally do appreciate people who care and are like that. We all have our differences. But for me personally, I don't go through my life like, oh my God, what's going to happen if this, like, that's, and especially for stuff that I have no control over, I can't do that. One, it's not good for my mental health. Two, it's a waste of time and energy that I don't have. And again, it's the same thing. Why am I going to lose sleep over stuff that I have no control over? I'm not going to lose sleep over the fact that a girl who I liked has no self-awareness. That's not on me. It is what it is. Move on. If a girl rejects me, move on. If I get a no from one of the radio stations, I've had multiple interviews for the same position. Okay, go back to the drawing board. Keep doing what you're doing. I don't look at the fact that I haven't had the door open for me in the radio realm as a failure. I've been able to accomplish a lot of cool shit while doing this stuff, like recording this show, and the success that's come with this show, and the success, more importantly, that I have with my articles. Literally, I got to the point where I didn't have to. I was working 2 jobs at a certain time a few years ago. Not only was I doing the transcripts in this, I was working at my uncle's tattoo shop for 4 years. I got to the point that I was so good at what I was doing transcript-wise that I didn't need to be at the tattoo shop anymore. It just wasn't worth the money that I was putting into travel at the tattoo shop to where I am right now. And nobody can take that away from me. And I take a lot of pride with that. I really do, because, a lot of people have their, expectations on how you're supposed to do this, how you're supposed to do that, how you're supposed to do this, how you're supposed to do that. Guys, man, this is your life. You are writing your own story. I'm writing my own story. I'm not losing sleep over stuff I have no control over. And that's something I really want to stress to you people today, for those who are watching and listening to this. Your life's going to be a lot much peaceful and better if you're not dwelling on things you have no control over. I'm not saying to not care about what your future looks like or anything like that. I'm not saying that, but when it comes to media skill stuff that has nothing to do with you and stuff you have no control over, why are you wasting energy over it? That's really all I'm trying to say. We're all different people. More people, I guess, are naturally worriers, and that's okay too. I'm not judging anybody that are worriers and worry about things that are going to happen 5 to 10 years from now. Hell, I don't even know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. I can't map out what the next 5 years is going to look like for me. I don't know. I don't. The only person that knows is the man upstairs. It's not on me. What I have control over is what I do. What I have control over is how I feel and how I go about things and trying to better myself. I have no control over what anybody else does in my life. Family, friends, etc., etc. Not that I don't care, not that I don't appreciate, but I'm not living my life through the lens in the shoes of other people. I'm writing my own story, and that's what I'm trying to express here. So, thank you all for let me have this time to let you guys know what's been going on in my mind over the last couple of days. Let's get into this show. Let's start this off as we usually do here. I've been kind of flipping the script here on the format of the show for the last couple of weeks, and we'll be starting this bad boy off with our signature segment. What the hell is wrong with AEW this week? Some people are going to be salty with what I have to say this week, but hey, man, the truth is the truth. So with that being said, sit back, relax, strap it down, because it's time for What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. If you're easily offended, that's a you problem, not a me problem. And again, if my mother had balls, she'd be my father. She doesn't, so I don't deal with ifs. All right, here we go. What the hell is wrong? AEW starts in a 3, a 2, a 1.
Your meat, beat 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 your meat.
I'm telling you, my time is right now. Right this minute, 2022. We're living in my time is now. My time is right goddamn now.
Man, what intensity.
The quality of the product and the quality of the shows is at an all-time high right now. But I do know that it's a real war between AEW and WWE.
I'm still cashing fat checks, and I am still banging the hottest bitch in this entire place.
It's time for What the Hell is Wrong with AEW?
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me, I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
All right, folks, what the hell's wrong? AEW brought to you by the good folks at the Wrestling Observer newsletter and Fightful Select. I would like to say for those who are watching here on YouTube on our live stream, please do me a favor and like this video and subscribe to our channel. It would really mean a lot to me. So I see who's watching this. I see we got our two people here live on YouTube watching this. So please do this favor, like this video, share the podcast with your friends. It really helped me a lot, and you don't have to pay anything. Literally, you can press the like button for absolutely free. We're not even on Patreon. So if you're watching this live on YouTube or Facebook or Twitch, please like the video, subscribe to our podcast, and we do appreciate the support. So, all right, what the hell is wrong with AEW this week? Well, I don't even know where to begin this week, to be honest with you. I said it before, I say it again. What could go wrong will go wrong. And I don't take pleasure in doing these segments a lot of times because I want AEW to be successful, but my God, I genuinely feel bad for Dixie Carter. I really do. Because literally her product is practically revamped and distributed on Turner Broadcasting Networks every single week at this point. Can anybody tell me what an objective point of view and a straight face and tell me what's the difference from the product we're seeing from AEW right now to the product that we saw from TNA with Dixie Carter at the helm? Can anybody tell me the difference besides the 6-sided ring? Jeff Jarrett gained TV time. Karen Jarrett. Oh, we have Chris Jericho trying to reignite feuds and tag teams and angles that he did in WWE because he can't come up with anything original himself in 2023. Hey, guess what? I had this feud that nobody gives a fuck about in the Don Callis family. So here's what I'm going to do. Instead of elevating a guy like Powerhouse Hobb and Kanose Takesha, or as I like to call it, the Walmart edition of Kota Ibushi, what we're going to do is we're going to have a 8-man tag match, street fight, if you will, probably Anarchy in Arena again for the 5th time this year. And we're going to have, well, it's the big show. Look, man. I saw Paul White a couple of weeks ago when they did that fishing vignette with MJF and Adam Cole, and it was Captain Insano and all that. No problem. I didn't mind that. And it's not a bad thing that Paul White is in AEW. I have a lot of respect for Paul. He's a legend. He's done a lot of great things in the industry. I have nothing against it personally. He's one of the few natural good human beings in the wrestling business. But there's nothing in me right now that I need to see this guy featured heavily in big programs, let alone in the ring. So here's an elevation for Powerhouse Hobb. Here comes the big show. So we're going to revamp Jericho because that's the most creative thing Chris Jericho could come up with in 2023 as Chris Jericho continues his year-by-year downfall and regression in his career of useless feuds, wasted TV time that we've been going through probably since I'd probably say after the MJF feud with Chris Jericho. It's been downhill since. And it's not only that. The way the Inner Circle dissolved was ass. The Jericho Appreciation Society was ass. Now, Chris Jericho is latching his name onto anything that's popular, anything that's building momentum, because Chris Jericho is the biggest clout chaser in professional wrestling in 2023. I'm saying it. Nobody else has the balls to say it, but I'm saying it here. Chris Jericho is the biggest clout chaser in 2023. He's not producing good, authentic, general television and original content because he's rehashing stuff that he's done either 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Did anybody remember the fact that him and Big Show were tag team champions? Does anybody remember Jericho? My God, I gotta go back to the archives of 2020 and 2010. Yeah, Jericho. Give me a break. The Big Show? This is the best we got for Powerhouse Hobbs? While you got a guy like Keith Lee sitting his happy ass in catering, doing absolutely nothing. Hell, I would rather see Mark Henry in the ring than Big Show. And again, it's not a personal dig towards Big Show because I like him. I have a lot of respect for the guy. But nobody gives a rat ass about this feud. So you can bring in the Bushi, you can bring in fucking Lance Storm, you can bring in the Big Slow, you can bring in whoever you want. Chris Jericho needs time off of television. He's not producing good content. Please, for all that's all in good, get this Nimrod off my TV screen. Oh, me and Kenny had a great match at the Tokyo Dome, so let's be the Golden Jets. Anytime I'm losing momentum, oh, let's do a tag team match with Kenny Omega. That would really do the favor. And you're seeing the Chris Jericho influence all over this promotion. It's a freaking joke at this point. You have characters who are main event guys who are more rooted in comedy segments like MJF and etc. The examples go on and on and on and on. Tony, man, I know you look up to Chris Jericho and he's a legend. He's one of the greatest of all time. I'm not taking anything away from Chris Jericho's career, but have some self-awareness. There's nothing this guy is doing that's good television in 2023. So cut it with the bullshit and get him out of that goddamn creative room. Him of all people should know that nothing good comes out of the boys being in the creative room. But again, here lies the problem. You have a guy thumbing his nose, playing the political part backstage because the owner, Mr. Booker of the Year, the only thing he cares about in his life is being the Booker of the Year. I wonder how his dad feels about that because God knows we can't trust Tony Khan with anything else related in life. And here's the thing. We have Chris Jericho producing some of the shittiest television on God's green earth. Feuds that nobody cares for and nobody gets over. Ricky Starks regress. Eddie Kingston regress. I could keep going here. Stop with the enabling, and I get it. You're a mark for him in ECW. But that does not change the fact that Chris Jericho doesn't have the pulse of what's good in 2023, let alone doing that for every aspect of your freaking television show. Oh, we have Kenny Olivier and Chris Jericho against 2.0. Who gave a fuck? Like, seriously. This is the best we got from Powerhouse House? Well, it's the Big Slow. Come on, man. I don't even know where to go from there. So we had Dynamite last night in Louisville, Kentucky. I kind of wish Cornette did a run-in because that would have been more entertaining than what we saw at the KFC Yum Center. We had MJF on the phone. He's talking to Renee Paquette. I'll talk about Renee in a little bit. MJF was on the phone with Adam Cole. Everybody and their mother is going after MJF and his title. Obviously, that's the whole storyline that's going on right now. Then we got this, high school-esque humor feud that's going on with him and Bullet Club Gold, where they're playing keep away with him like we're fucking 6-year-olds, and he needs his help. Adam Cole is out with his ankle injury that he suffered at Grand Slam like a Nimrod, and goes nowhere. Adam Cole is left on the screen with Renee, and out comes Roderick Strong. Adam, and it possibly you can keep saying Adam because Adam's my middle name, so Joshua Adam Lopez. Adam. The Roddy stuff is fine, but again, like I said on last week's episode, I'm ready for this Bullet Club Gold and MJF feud to be over with. You know, that was the main event of the show on Tuesday. Not Tuesday. It was the main event last night. It was the 8-man tag. It was him and the Acclaim against Bullet Club Gold, and Jay White beats MJF clean as a whistle with one Blade Runner. Especially, it's funny in this promotion that one move finishes somebody because, you know, they'll have their match now at full gear, and MJF will probably kick out of 2 Blade Runners at this point. So I'm just ready for this feud to be over with, to be honest with you guys. And I want it to be good, but I have to call a spade here. This stuff with Bullet Club Gold is really making Max's title reign look very, very weak, to the point that I'm feeling bad for Max, because how am I supposed to take you serious as the greatest and most prestigious AEW World Champion of all time, but you don't have the ability to go straight up to Tony Khan and logically be like, hey, man, what the hell's going on here? You're the promoter and you're letting these freaking twats run around with a title that's not theirs and you're not doing anything about it? What are we in elementary school? Oh, let's play keep away, and I'm gonna pretend that I'm a world champion because I have nothing else that can give me more people invested in myself. There's so much that's wrong with the whole Jay White presentation that it's just insulting in a way to me, because I know how damn good that guy is. He does not need the freaking ass boys, and he doesn't need rock hard Juice Robinson. The stuff needs to stop. Like, seriously, it needs to stop. So, you know, the claiming Daddy Ass comes out, and I'm not surprised by it because, you know, the Bucks and Hangman Page, the Bucks of Use and Hangnail, as Cornette would say, they had a 6-man tag match with the Mogul Embassy through the Prince Nana dance. So, like, okay, nobody cares about the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team titles that way. So obviously you already wasted the energy of the Young Bucks. I talked about it earlier. You have Kenny Olivier and Chris Jericho tagging up against the 2.0 Stooges, and who else are you gonna go to? The Butcher, the Maker, the Butcher, the Baker, and the Candlestick Maker. Like, so they get the pop for the crowd. 8-man tag all over the place. Referee doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Half the match, I mentioned earlier, Jay White hits MJF with one Blade Runner, and that was it. And then after the match, instead of letting that moment breathe, you know, here's another moment for Jay White to stand tall over MJF. No, we got to rush and make sure people are not upset because they started chanting bullshit. So, I can't have my show having people be upset at me, or I'm going to lose my Booker of the Year award. So after taking this brutal, devastating finish, right? He gets right back on his feet and does the scissors with Max Caster to close the show. And you wonder why your promotion is losing momentum and looks like TNA as the weeks go by. But it's just me because I'm a hater, right? I don't want it to be good. I want AEW to fail. No, I don't want it to fail. They're going down that path themselves. They certainly don't need my help. They need a wake-up call, and that's what the segment is. Because there's too many people who do shows like this and et cetera, who make excuses for Tony Khan because they want to be friends with him and have a job with him. Watch the freaking show. If you're advertising to people that you present elite style wrestling and what you guys do are much better than everybody else and you guys act like your shit don't stink, then prove it. Show me elite wrestling. Show me something that I haven't seen already from multiple promotions over the last 20 years. Oh, we are the alternative. My ass. You're the alternative. Yeah. Well, that's some bullshit. Oh my god, man. This segment's getting insane here. Pockets retained his international championship over Claudio Castagnoli. It's getting hard. It's getting harder and harder for me to take Claudio seriously as this fake tough guy when he's losing matches to Pockets, but that's neither here or there. Hangnail Page and Swerve Strickland will be continuing their feud, and they'll have a rematch at Full Gear. That's fine. I like their match with Russell Dream, so that's fine. Speaking of Full Gear, we had another match announced. It's the six-man tag team match, the trios match. Now it'll be Edge, Adam Copeland, Sting, and Darby Allin taking on Christian Cage, Dino Douche, and Nick Wayne. So that is what's going on. So here you go. Edge is on the show with Tony Schiavone. It's kind of similar promos that we've been getting from Edge recently. Edge tries to talk, and then Christian cuts him off. Christian says that everybody knows about Edge and his neck issues and stuff like that. That went nowhere. They get into a brawl. And then already, because we got a sure load on Dynamite every single week, Edge has already got physical with Christian Cage. So not even to wait to the pay-per-view before you get a special moment on pay-per-view. No, we had to do the spear in freaking Louisville. Okay. I like the feud so far, but why are we having these guys touch each other already? What do I know? Let's get to you on here. Really quick on a positive note, I wanted to say this. I did get a chance to watch the MJF Kenny Omega AEW World Championship match on Collision last week. I talked about it last week. It was kind of, it didn't bother me that this match was on free television. So I watched the match, and I thought for the most part it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It was a fantastic match. Twitter's going to overhype things. The cows come home. But at the same time, I enjoyed it. But this is also a match you could have just done at the World's End. That's the name of the final pay-per-view, right, in December in Long Island. Yeah. So for me, you could have done MJF and Kenny in Long Island, and I wouldn't have no problem with that. But for the match itself, I thought it was fantastic. If anybody has doubts that MJF can't go in the ring, I think you need to look yourself in the mirror. MJF is one of the few saving graces that we have left with the current AEW product. Enjoy it, man. The guy is damn good at everything he does. And to say that he can't wrestle or he's one-dimensional, I think you are lying to yourself. So I like the match with him and Kenny. Obviously, who wouldn't? I think Stevie Wonder would enjoy the match that they had in Collision. So I want to give props to Max and Kenny. I know I've been very harsh and negative this segment, but I do want to give some credit where credit's due there. I gave my thoughts on it, but Eric Bischoff on 83 Weeks with Connie, my boy. Eric Bischoff had his thoughts on what's going on with this decision to have this match on free TV. So I wanted to play this this clip for you guys and let me know what you think what Eric has to say here. I found this to be very interesting. So love to get your guys' thoughts, and let's hear what Bischoff had to say here on 83 Weeks.
Also on that same day, as you and I are recording on Saturday, we saw a main event that a lot of people thought would have been reserved for a pay-per-view. They announced on Wednesday's Dynamite that MJF would be defending his world title against Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega going into this match was the longest reigning AEW heavyweight champion of all time. It was said that if MJF would get the win here, then he would, in fact, wind up being the person to break that record and become the longest reigning AEW champion in history. And somehow, some way, MJF got his hand raised, and afterwards, Kenny Omega cut quite a promo for the live crowd, saying that it was MJF's time now. I found that interesting, and of course, whenever people think about big time title matches on free TV, they always think about you, Hogan, and Goldberg. I saw some people saying, why didn't they make this a pay-per-view? Obviously, times are a-changing, but AEW is still in the pay-per-view business. What did you think of the decision they made to put MJF and Kenny Omega on free TV?
With no advanced promotion, no story, just announce it and do it. I'm not going to be critical of putting it on live TV for obvious reasons, because AEW, Tony Khan, has to service their client. Their client, in addition to the audience, their client is the network. But here's where I just have questions. I'm not being critical. I promised myself a couple weeks ago I was going to refrain from being critical as much as I could. But if you're going to put MJF and Omega on free TV, to do it, number one, on a Saturday night when you're up against Game 2 of the World Series and college football, you know you're going to get your ass handed to you. And to make that match on a Saturday night against that kind of competition, when you know no matter what you do, you're going to get your ass handed to you, that makes me question it even more. I mean, it's bad enough to put that match on television without any buildup, no storyline. Nobody in the world could answer the question, legitimately answer the question, why is this match happening? Other than making up some, indie-rific bullshit. It just makes no sense. And if you're going to do it on free TV and you're going to do it without a story and you're going to do it without any buildup, why do it on a Saturday night against Game 2? It's not like that was a surprise. That was scheduled. You know you're up against college football. I don't know. I have questions. I'm hoping somebody will, come up with a good answer that makes sense.
You're not alone in that. You're not alone in that. I have my questions too. And people just want to put a blind eye to things that go on with AEW because, it's the fun company. We're not WWE. We're the alternative. We found out this week that's a bunch of bullshit. They're as WWE light as TNA was back in the day. Stop fooling yourselves. So, with that being said, Hikaru Shida, Will and Knight go for the women's title. Might as well call it the TV championship at this point. I don't know why they're making Shida defend the title on almost every show now. Is that a response to Roman Reigns not defending his title? If that is, that's very odd. But that's Tony Khan for you. So Hikaru Shida retains. There's this little sub story going on with the women's division with Julia Hart, and she's trying to make people join the House of Black or get them down a dark path by blinding them with the mist. It seems to backfire this time as Sky Blue gave the mist to Julia Hart this time. I don't know how effective it was. It seemed like the crowd really didn't care, or it didn't resonate with them. Excuse me, when Sky Blue did the mist, but I can appreciate effort in doing other feuds throughout the women's division, but that's my thoughts on that. All right, let's go to let's get into the excrement impression. Let's do that first because we got a lot of matches that we got to talk about first. Because I know a lot of you guys are waiting to hear my thoughts on the whole, oh my God, Tony Khan had a huge announcement this week. Yeah, water is wet too. So let's do the excrement impressions, shall we? Let's do this. All right. Coming to you live tomorrow night on TNT is another stellar edition of AEW Rampage. Here's your matches. First, we have Sky Blue taking on Marina Shafir. From there, we have the Guns taking on Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal. Trent Beretta of Best Friends taking on the Daniel Garcia. Then our main event is a Lucha del Dia de los Muertos match, which features El Hijo del Vikingo, Penta Zero Miro, and Commander. And coming up this Saturday night on TNT, it's another edition of AEW Collision. We have Darby Allin taking on the Murder Hawk Hawk Monster, Lance Archer. And don't forget, coming up on Sunday, November 18, 2023, from the fabulous Kia Forum in Inglewood, California, AEW presents Full Gear. On the kickoff show, we have MJF putting his Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles on the line against the Guns. From there, we have Hikaru Shida putting her AEW Women's World Championship on the line against Timeless Toni Storm. We have a trios match featuring Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne taking on Sting, Darby Allin, and Adam Copeland. From there, we have a rematch from All Out. It's Orange Cassidy putting his AEW International Championship on the line against Jon Moxley. From there, we have a rematch from Wrestle Dream. It's Hangman Adam Page taking on Swerve Strickland. And our main event for the AEW World Championship is MJF taking on Jay White. Don't forget, get all your information. Go to AllEliteWrestling.com. Get all your tickets right now at AEWTIX.com. That's AEWTIX.com. Speaking of AEWTIX.com, the big announcement this week at Dynamite is that, hey, you guys can get a head start for everybody getting your tickets for AEW All In Wembley Stadium. Oh man, I don't know what's more disappointing, the Bears on primetime television or Tony Khan announcements. Holy shit. I genuinely feel bad for people who like hype these announcements and get like invested in it, and they're like, oh man, you better watch out. Or the look emoji with the eyes on social media. You see that sometimes they do that, like, oh, you better watch out. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, hey, everybody, get tickets for the show that was already announced 3 months ago. Yay! Oh, God. Who thinks it's a good idea to put Tony Khan on television, let alone to do it for these type of announcements that have zero to nothing of an impact whatsoever? Oh man, I know what I want for my. I know what I want my stocking stuffers this holiday season. Yeah, give me some AEW tickets to London. Yeah. On that note, I post a question each and every single week. You guys let me know. Am I the only one? Am I talking to clouds? Does anybody understand where I'm coming from with all this stuff? Am I talking on my ass? Let me know. What the hell's wrong with AEW?
This has been What the Hell is Wrong with AEW.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Alright, folks. When we come back here, I'll let you guys know what happened this week in WWE right here on the Hoots Podcast. Folks, welcome back to the Hoots Podcast. Time to talk about what happened this week in WWE. Let me take this off the screen really quick. Here we go. We're back here in the break free room here in Chicago. All right. Let's take a look here at what we got to talk about this week in WWE. I'm gonna make this one really quick because we got So other stuff I want to get to with the questions and stuff like that as well. And then we got our picks and all this other stuff. So let's rock and roll here. Coming up on Saturday is the Crown Jewel pay-per-view from the Mohammed Abdu Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. I'll be covering the show on Saturday for WrestlingHeadlines.com. And make sure to check out all my transcripts and play-by-play articles at WrestlingHeadlines.com. I appreciate the support there. It's shouts to the guys for bringing me back. All right, let's go over some of the stuff that happened this week on television. I will get into NXT as well, so don't forget. I didn't forget about NXT. Last week on SmackDown was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. What a terrible crowd. The show last week was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It was on FS1, and SmackDown drew a pretty good rating for a show on FS1. It's funny how SmackDown on FS1 could draw 1 million, but Dynamite can't do it on TBS. What does that tell you? Anyways, we had the contract signing with LA Knight and Roman Reigns. LA Knight, making everything about himself, and he cuts Roman Reigns off during his entrance, and he's sitting at the head of the table, which is a little different plot twist. I like the different scenario than how these contract signings usually go with Roman. And he had a couple singers bringing up the whole suffer and succotash stuff. Roman's LA Knight's like, I only need one opportunity at a championship. And I thought he carried himself very well in the segment. For the most part, I liked what he had to say, and I thought it was resonating with the crowd. Obviously, the crowd's on his side. But again, like the point I've been stressing as we've been getting towards closer and closer to this premium live event is that LA Knight is not going to be downtrodden or just relegated to nothingness if he loses to Roman Reigns. I heard this silly debate with Dave LaGreca and Bully Ray and Mark Henry on Busted Open the other day, where LaGreca's like, oh, but the smack that LA Knight's talking, he better win at Crown Jewel or else. Like, come on, man. You're better than that, Dave. You really are. LA Knight's going to be considered buried if he loses to Roman. Why? Because you're still upset that Roman beat your boy at WrestleMania? Get over it. Get over it already. Think where LA Knight was this time last year compared to where he is right now. I don't know how is it anything but a positive gain for him, regardless of what happens in their match on Saturday. Is it predictable? Sure. Is it one-sided? Absolutely. But to say that LA Knight's going to be buried if he loses to Roman Reigns, or this match is a referendum on his career, I think that's bullshit. I respect Dave and all the stuff he does for Busted Open, but to say that, oh, LA Knight better win or else, like, come on, man. It ain't that deep. We had a couple of matches on the show. Street Profits, they defeated Carlito and Santos Escobar. I got to give a shout out to Chelsea Green because she's been putting the grunt work this week. She had the match on SmackDown with Shotzi. She had a trick or treat street fight with Natalya on Raw, and then on Halloween Havoc, her and Piper Niven defend the tag titles against Chase U. It's one thing to be like very talented with her promos and character work, but Chelsea Green put on the working boots this week, and I always talk about maximizing your TV time. She's the epitome of doing that in 2023. She's fantastic. I gotta say, man, when it comes to like waterfall stuff, her dressed up as Bret Hart with the curls and everything, mamma mia, man. Good on you, Matt Cardona. Holy moly, man. She was smoking hot. I did thought it was a funny thing, they dressed up as the Hart Foundation for Halloween, and I thought that was funny, but Chelsea Green with the curls and the whole Bret Hart look, I thought it was pretty cool. So that was that. Then from there, I wanted to talk about really quick the John Cena and Paul Heyman segment. I pride myself on being a student of the game and, taking the time to write out these dialogues, write out these promo segments. And it really helps me get a lot of context clues with the angles and stuff that's going on at the shows, and where I can see things going from a big picture standpoint and then being present. And John Cena and Paul Heyman took us to school. John Cena and Paul Heyman gave us a reason to care about the match that John's having with Solo Sikoa this Saturday at Crown Jewel. And I think that's pretty cool. John Cena is going to be going away soon, so we can't take these appearances for granted. I thought him and Heyman just gave us a crash course in promo college, in promo school. That was awesome. That's how it's done. That was very good. From there, Dragon Lee and Cedric Alexander had a pretty decent match. I like the fire from Bianca Belair and her promo. She'll be fighting Io Sky at Crown Jewel as she wants to get her revenge on Damage Control and them taking her out and her injury. Shout out to Bianca. And then the main event was LA Knight and Jimmy Uso. LA Knight defeated Jimmy Uso and also gave Roman Reigns a BFT. Now, I know SmackDown was taped. This coming SmackDown that's airing tomorrow was taped. I don't look at spoilers, so I don't know what's actually happening. But curious to see how it goes. I wonder if they're going to do like a press conference before this Saudi Arabia show like they did earlier this year. I would think so, right? They would do it early in the afternoon. We'll have to see. But all in all, I thought SmackDown was decent this week. Then we go to Monday Night Raw this past Monday from Greenville, South Carolina. By the way, I got to give a shout out to the Greenville crowd because this is one of the markets in the past where the crowds were just like sitting on their hands and not doing anything, and just like, why you buy a ticket to a show that you don't want to make any noise for? So I got to give credit where credit's due. They did a really, really good job. So I want to give a shout out to the Greenville, South Carolina crowd. They did a very good job. Sami Zayn cut a very, very passionate promo on Raw towards Judgment Day, and he's like, my name's not Sami Zayn. I am Resistance. I'm Rebellion. I don't care if I have to fight you 1-on-1, 2-on-1, 3-on-1, 4-on-1, 5-on-1, all on one. If that's not a hit towards War Games, I don't know what is. That ended up brewing into him fighting Damian Priest in the main event. Earlier in the show, Damian Priest, I don't know about you guys, but it seems like Damian Priest has been very whiny and complaining lately. This on TV, it's like he's always mad about something and whining. It's like, oh well, I didn't know now that we're making matches for each other. I thought there was no leaders for the Judgment Day. Like I can understand where he's coming from, but it's like all his promos now are always him whining and bitching about something. It's very odd. So him and Sami Zayn had the main event. Decent match. Damian Priest won via disqualification. We had a lot of outside shenanigans with Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio. Jey Uso came out with a steel chair and started attacking everybody. That ended into a Pure Six brawl. All hell's breaking loose at ringside. Cody Rhodes comes out and he's hitting people with crossroads and doing his business. And Cody Rhodes, I liked his promo towards Damian Priest towards the end of Raw. So good stuff there. I'm looking forward not only the Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest match at Crown Jewel, but also Sammy will be at the show. And on the kickoff show, he'll be taking on JD McDonough. Speaking of JD McDonough, JD had a pretty good match with Seth Rollins on Raw this past Monday. Really good stuff really quick from Seth and Drew McIntyre. You know, Drew McIntyre had this really good vignette talk about his frustrations and what he's been through over the last 3 to 4 years. And I thought Seth Rollins' response for his match with JD was very, very good too. Spare us with the crybaby stuff. Cry me a river, So all in all, some good shit, man. Like I really liked a lot of the stuff that we saw in Raw this week. We not only that match, we had the Creed brothers against Alpha Academy, which is a barn burner. Ricochet and Dominic Mysterio had a pretty good match. Let's talk about this really quick. Miz TV and Gunther. I thought Mark Henry brought up a great point on Busted Open the other day. And, Miz gets a lot of unwarranted flack from the Nimrods in the world. And, not giving him his flowers, not giving him respect. I'm also getting kind of tired of the whole he's unworthy of being in the ring with Gunther because he has a soft wrestling style. If you're a wrestler, you're tough. Like this whole stuff, like Miz is soft and all this extra stuff. Like, okay, he's not having a match like Shingo Takagi, but that doesn't make him weak or soft. I don't like disrespecting wrestlers on audio platforms like that. I have my tastes in wrestlers I like and don't like, but I'm not going to come in here and be like, oh, this wrestler is soft and weak. One, I'm not a wrestler. Two, I've never been in the ring, so it's not for me to say who's tough or not in the ring. So this whole stuff about Miz, it being too soft for Gunther and his safe, soft WWE style. If you're a wrestler, regardless of the promotion, you're a tough SOB. I make no bones about it that there's certain wrestlers and styles of wrestling that I don't like, but I'm not going to come on here and say that a wrestler is soft or weak or whatever. I don't know, man. I think people get too loose with the tongue sometimes. Like, it's okay to say that you're not a fan of The Miz, but to say that the man is weak and has a soft style, I don't know. You want to disrespect performers? That's your prerogative. But for me, I like to have respect for people who put their bodies on the line for us. And I don't know. Say Miz is unworthy of having a good match with Gunther. I don't know what you guys talk about because Miz will prove you wrong big time with that. Before we get to our predictions for Crown Jewel or Crown Royal, as some would say, we had NXT Halloween Havoc Night 2. The Creed brothers had a really good week. Not only their match with the Alpha Academy, but Creed brothers had an awesome tables, ladders, and scares match with Los Lotharios. If you guys haven't seen the match, go check it out. Tiffany Stratton, I was looking forward to this match with her and Fallon Henley, but it never happened. It went to no contest. I guess Tiffany got in her feelings over Stratton mocking her last week, so the match never happened. She just attacked her during the entrance. Dominic Mysterio retained his North American title over Nathan Frazier. Pretty decent match. After the match, Wes Lee popped up and attacked Dominic Mysterio. So it looks like Wesley is over his complex and he's ready to get back to work. Wesley probably will get a shot at Dominic Mysterio at Deadline and probably get his title back. So that's fine. No harm, no foul. What else? Braun Breaker ran through Robert Stone. Von Wagner attacked Braun Breaker. Looks like they'll have their rematch soon. I mentioned the Chelsea Green Piper Niven match. Kalani Jordan lost to Lola Vice. Congratulations go out to Lola Vice for winning the 2023 NXT Women's Breakout Tournament. Lola Vice is a rising star to be in the lookout for. Obviously, very, very beautiful woman, but very good in the ring for a girl with the lack of experience she has. Then we had Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes for the NXT Championship. These two never disappoint in the ring. They have great chemistry with each other. This match was fantastic. Trick Williams came out during the match, which shocked Carmelo Hayes. It helped Dragunov win with the Torpedo Moscow. He's still your NXT champion. After the match, before we can see what was on Trick's mind, because everybody's like, hey, what's going on with Trick and Mello? Who attacked Trick before his shot in that fatal 4-way? Was it Carmelo? Was it Baron Corbin? Was it Dijak? We don't know what was going to happen. Now we gotta wait to this coming Tuesday to see what happens with that. So I thought that was a good cliffhanger. And then obviously Baron Corbin attacked Ilya Dragunov in the behind the curtain by the gorilla position there in NXT. So that was what it was. I liked the match. And they did a cliffhanger to keep you watching and see where things going. Next week they'll have the qualifying matches for the Iron Survivor Challenge matches. It's their new concept that they do for these deadline specials. We'll see how that goes. I think that shows on December 9th, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I have to see, but yeah, that's the only WWE pay-per-view in December is NXT Deadline. So all in all, Halloween Havoc was pretty decent. Let me make my predictions for Crown Jewel. But first, let me do the rundown of the matches as if I'm Excrement, okay? Right, you live on Peacock this coming Saturday night is WWE Crown Jewel for Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. On the kickoff show, it's Sami Zayn taking on JD McDonough. For there, we have John Cena taking on Solo Sikoa. For there, we have a grudge match featuring Cody Rhodes and Damian Priest. Rey Mysterio puts his WWE United States Championship on the line against Logan Paul. From there, we have the Fatal 5-Way match. For the Women's World Championship, it's Rhea Ripley taking on Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, and Raquel Rodriguez. From there, we have the match for the WWE Women's Championship. It's Io Sky putting her title on line against Bianca Belair. From there, the semi-main event for the World Heavyweight Championship. It's Seth freaking Rollins taking on Drew McIntyre. And our main event for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. It's the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, against LA Knight. Yeah. All right. There you go. Real quick, for those watching on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. Those who are watching live on YouTube, I appreciate the support. Let me make my predictions for the show really quick. I definitely got Sammy over JD in the kickoff show. I have Rhea Ripley retaining her title. I have Solo defeating John Cena. I got Cody Rhodes defeating Damian Priest. Some way, somehow, I have Io defeating Bianca Belair. I got Logan Paul defeating Rey Mysterio and becoming your new United States champion. And I got Seth Rollins retaining over Drew McIntyre. And Damian Priest gets this close to cashing in his briefcase. I don't think the cash will happen, but he'll get close. But Seth Rollins will get out of the way. And then I have Roman Reigns indeed retaining over LA. No. Roman Reigns will retain and put down the Yab movement. So those are my predictions for Crown Jewel. And that's what happened this week in WWE. Before we get to our final segment, it's time to crown another prestigious member into the CLAHN of the Week Club. Let's get to this segment right here.
I'm not CLAHN. CLAHN's the CLAHN. You're big on CLAHN.
One more time.
I'm not CLAHN. CLAHN's the CLAHN. You're big on CLAHN.
Oh man, the CLAHN of the Week. The CLAHN of the Week goes out to people who exemplify just Nimrodness on the highest levels. A person that's just incapable. I don't know. I don't know if we could top Jada Pinkett Smith a couple weeks ago because my God, that girl is out of her mind. All right, let's see this. I have a couple. I had a couple of picks on my mind as far as who'd be worthy of this distinction of being the CLAHN of the Week this week. The winner of the CLAHN of the Week this week goes to Michael Lombardi, the former general manager of the Cleveland Browns, the Bill Belichick ham boy and bitch made boy, Mike Lombardi. I know you have this vendetta against the Chicago Bears. We know a blind person can figure out that the Bears are not a good football organization, but you talk out your ass so many times about the situation, and you're not even close in the same ballpark of what's actually going on. And you go in your little hissy fit over the fact that the Bears traded a second-round pick for Montez Sweat. It's really showing you like how much of a vendetta you got. Dude, nobody's going to get in a bidding war for a guy that probably didn't want to be there. Why not get out ahead of everybody and go get the guy before you lose him in free agency? Oh, I can't believe that they're going to trade a second-round pick. If you're going to be living and hoping and praying by drafting people in the draft, you're in a lose-lose situation because more times than not, you're not going to be successful as you think you're going to be. So, him getting on this whole soapbox about the Bears trading their second-round pick for Montez, I'm like, get over yourself, dude. So with that being said, congratulations, Michael Lombardi. You are the CLAHN of the week. All right, let me make my picks for week 9 of the NFL season. Let's do that right now. I have the Steelers over the Titans. Right now it's 13-10. Titans at halftime. Not a lot of games on the slate this week. I do have the Bears upsetting the New Orleans Saints on the road. Their game will be on CBS this week for those who are in the Chicago area. I got the Chiefs beating the Dolphins. This game's in Germany. I have the Chiefs winning. I got the Falcons over the Vikings. I got the Rams over the Packers. Patriots over the Commanders. Ravens over the Seahawks. Bucks over Titans. Colts over Panthers. Raiders over the Giants. Eagles over the Cowgirls. The Bengals over the Bills. And the Chargers over the Jets. So those are my picks. So with that being said, we got one more segment to do here on the Hoots Podcast this week, and it's time for the Back Porch Q&A segment. All right, time to get to our main event segment this week, and it's the time that I enjoy the most because I get to interact with the 5 people who want to interact with me. It's time for the Back Porch Q&A session. Thanks to all the good brothers. We don't have fans here in the Hoots Podcast. We have good brothers and good sisters. My ego is not that big. Where I'm above you. My status is above you. Like I don't look down on people. That's not my deal. We don't have fans. We have supporters and good brothers and good sisters. So I never want to I don't want to put myself above anybody when it comes to doing this type of stuff. I'm very grateful and gracious for the fact that people care about what I have to say about wrestling or anything. And I appreciate the support for the last 7 to 8 years. It's been really cool. So as always, we do the Back Porch Q&A session. If you want to participate, all you have to do is ask me a question. It doesn't have to be wrestling related, open to anything that's on your mind. And I can give you a shout out, especially if you send a live question here on our YouTube chat. So we only had questions this week from the good brother Chris Saletta at XTeamSaletta24X on Twitter. Throw up the X for Chris. And let's see what Chris had on the docket this week for us. All right. Thoughts on some of the trades from the NFL deadline. Chase Young going to the 49ers. Okay. Does it change the issues that they have on their offensive side of the ball? But that's neither here or there. Pretty cool story with Josh Dobbs. He was doing some decent stuff with the Cardinals. He got traded to the Vikings. there was a couple other trades here and there, nothing that really stood out the most to me. Like I said, I think Montez Sweat will bring some good stuff to the Bears. We'll have to see how that goes. But all in all, I thought this was a little more tamed, trade deadline. It wasn't really like over the top or something memorable. It wasn't anything that stood out to me, I guess. But that's the way I can answer that question. Okay, next question. Thoughts on some of the recent Ask released in MLW? I did see this. Alexander Hammerstone and I think it's Lance Anoa'i, if I'm not mistaken. They both asked a release from MLW. Look, guys, I used to cover MLW before I got furloughed. I haven't had a chance to cover those shows yet since I got back to the site, but I was covering MLW for a long time, and Hammerstone was the name of the face of the promotion for a long time. And I can't blame Hammerstone for wanting to do what's best for him and see if he can perform on a bigger stage. And it's not a knock towards MLW. It's great to have it out there. It's great for the boys and the girls to have a place to work and hone their craft, but there's only so much you can do there from an exposure point of view. But, whatever happens for him, I wish him nothing but the best because he's a very talented performer. Same thing goes with Lance Anoa'i and anybody else that decides that they want to ask their release. So that's my thoughts on that. Ronda Rousey's free agent tour. How long do you think until she appears at AEW? Still waiting for Paige Van Zandt. Probably soon. I just find it funny that the same girl who's like, I don't care about these wrestling geeks and dorks is gonna go doing an indie loop and then ended up being in AEW, the hub of wrestling dorks and nimrods and twats. So it's funny how that plays out sometimes. So happy for her. She wants to be in wrestling, great. If not, I can get two shits. But if she wants to do that, good on her. What's your opinion on classic hip-hop records being flipped in this era? That's a good question. I mean, I'm never going to be opposed to hearing a sample from the 90s because that's my favorite era of hip-hop, and that's what I grew up on. So, I know they had that Metro Boomin version of I Don't Want to Know, the Mario Wayne song, which is really cool. I like that. I'm not really opposed to it, but it's also a testament that there's not a lot of original creativity out there when it comes to a lot of these rappers. And then you got mumble rappers where you don't know about 90% what the fuck they're saying half the time. And then you got, I think that the producing and the musicianship of today's rap is very, very hit and miss. I still like Drake. The song that I like the most from his previous album that he dropped a little while ago was Tried Our Best. I really like that song a lot. So what's what it was. Have you listened to P. Diddy's new album? Chris, I've heard a couple songs. I haven't listened to the whole thing yet, but the one that stood out the most to me was one that I did a guitar cover for. It's called Kim Porter, which is in tribute to the late Kim Porter, who is one of the baby mothers of P. Diddy. So I really like that song. What do you expect from this Busta Rhymes album being produced by Timbaland, Pharrell, and Swizz Beatz? Well, I expect it to be pretty good. It's going to be on like neck bones, as Booker T would say. I'm excited for it. I think it should be pretty cool. What else here? Who do you think is under the devil mask? Either MJF or Britt Baker. That's my best guess. I'm going to go with MJF. Where do you put Get Rich or Die Trying amongst the greatest albums of all time? Greatest albums of all time? Not in the top 10 or anything like that. Maybe top 15 or 20 in regards to hip hop, but as far as albums of all time, I don't know if it's in the top 30, but it's a good album. I wouldn't say it's one of the greatest of all time, though. Where do you think Mickie James will have her last official match, in TNA or WWE? That's a great question, Chris. I really don't know. I think for me, she had her start in TNA as Alexis Lorraine. She has a lot of history, and she's done a lot of great things in Impact over the last couple of years. And she's a legend. Regardless, if she has her last match at Impact, that's cool. If she has her last match at WWE, that's cool. I think one way or another, Mickie James will be a WWE Hall of Famer one day. So, for me, I would love to see her have her last match at WWE, and you can find the right person to do it and have that moment with her. But at the same time, it's on her. It's on what she wants to do. It's hard for me to get into it because Mickey's my all-time favorite female wrestler. So whatever she wants to do, I'll support it. If it was up to you, what programs in AEW would you like to see take place after Full Gear? Well, I would like to see something different for sure. I would like to see maybe Samoa Joe and Kenny Olivier. Can we go back to doing Powerhouse Hobbs and Miro? Because I don't know why they stopped doing that. You had money on the table. These guys stole the show it all out, and then you just act like these guys don't even exist or they don't even acknowledge each other. We'll see what's up next for Swerve. Obviously, I don't think he's getting a shot at MJF anytime soon. So it's really up in the air because a lot of these guys are in factions and it gets very convoluted at times. But Samoa Joe and Kenny Olivier would be pretty cool. Those are the only ones off the top of my head for right now. Honestly, we'll get to Edge and Christian down the road. Who knows? Maybe Edge has something with Swerve. What's next for Wardlow? We have to see how that plays out. Be curious to see how that goes. Let's see. Final question here. Your favorite matches from the 2 weeks of Halloween Havoc? Great question there, Chris. Becky Lynch, Live Valkyria for the NXT Women's Championship. The tables, ladders, and scares match I thought was very good. And then the main event, Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov. That was the one that really stood out the most to me. Sam, what's going on, my man? I miss you, my man. Hope we can get to catch up soon. This rock and roll here answers some questions. Doing good, my man. I want to thank Chris for sending questions this week. As always, if you want to participate in the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit me up at Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. I want to thank y'all for hanging out with me tonight. This has been a fun edition of the Hoots Podcast. I just wanted to say again, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel so not only you get notified when new live streams appear, or you can see some bonus content, or maybe I upload a guitar cover, or maybe I react to a music video or something like that. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to getting 500 subscribers on YouTube and the road to 1 million 1 million downloads on Anchor continues. We're very close. We're getting very close to that benchmark. And as always, remember, folks, be the authentic product that is yourself. And remember, nobody dictates the pace of your life but yourself and the man upstairs. You can check out my coverage of Crown Jewel coming up this Saturday at WrestlingHeadlines.com. And you can follow me on Twitter at the Hoots Podcast. I'm on Instagram at Joshie Lopez Media. And I love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Hope you guys enjoy Crown Jewel, or Crown Royal, as some would say. And I'll be back here to recap it next week. And we'll start our Road to Survivor Series. This has been episode 385 of the Hoots Podcast. And we'll talk to y'all next week. Yes, sir.